Good afternoon. This is my persuasive speech on genetically modified crop production. Everyday GMO products are used in our food industry as well as our agriculture sector. GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. Simply put, it is the altering of genetic makeup of a plant or sometimes animal to make the production or consumption more efficient. GMO crops have been in use since the early 90s, mostly used for livestock feed. In today's society, we see an increase in GMO crops for human consumption, whether it be ready Roundup corn, Roundup ready soybeans, or herbicide cotton. Although GMO crops have been around for close to 3 decades, there is still public outcry of how GMO crop production is detrimental to society and overall human health. And I just want to give some information revolving around GMOs as of to why they can be beneficial to the human lifestyle. The first question that I ask is, why is GMO good for the sake of our country? GMO products are necessary to agriculture in order to fill an increasing need for food worldwide and evolve agriculture to further aid the producers and consumers all over the world. By raising GMO crop, farmers can cut down on costs of herbicides and insecticides as well as increase crop yields through GMO augmentation. They adopt whatever technologies promise them, which is lower production cost, increased productivity, or products of higher value. GMO crops have been used not only in USA but also Argentina, China, and Mexico, showing that farmers in developing countries benefit from their cultivation. For farmers raising GMO crops, it limits cost of herbicides and pesticides that are to be sprayed on crops. It keeps away weeds and pests for the consumers of GMOs. There is no exact information that consuming GMO products could negatively impact their health. GMO evolution is simply agriculture evolving with society and adapting to the changing society and population. Just as medicine and biomechanics have evolved, public health agriculture must make the same adaptations in order to remain a beneficial key point of society. The second question that's asked is, does GMO hurt the land or the agriculture that could be grown in the future? Although GMO crops are under scrutiny because of what goes into these organisms to change the DNA and the long-term effects of eating unnatural or inorganic foods, I believe that GMO crops are the next big thing that could change agriculture for generations, that further the advances of science in agriculture. The adoption of GMO crops has reduced the use of insecticides but has increased the use of weed-killing herbicides as weeds become more resistant. And this was brought to my attention by the economist Federico Siliberto. With this much added herbicides in the environment, it could ruin the natural ecology of the croplands and permanently damage the ecosystem. For people wondering, insecticides are pesticides that are formulated to kill, harm, repel, or mitigate one or more species of insect. GMOs puts a reduction on the use of insecticides. GMO crops does not harm honeybees or monarch butterflies, but on the contrary, they may reduce the need for pesticides that do harm them. Insects that eat genetically modified crops can, in some cases, start to develop a resistance to the protein that usually kills them. The third question that's asked is, how has GMO helped the people's health? GMO crops have aided more people in third world and poor countries than even modern medicine. In Asia, normal Borlaug developed golden rice. Golden rice is a GMO that has an increase in vitamin A to combat premature blindness in young kids and adults where there is a vitamin A deficiency. Golden rice is still being grown and consumed on a daily basis in most of Southeast Asia and parts of Africa. The University of New York states that currently the Golden Rice Project has 16 national rice research institutions under the Golden Rice Humanitarian Board, including those in Bangladesh, China, Indonesia, India, South Africa, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Agriculture production also takes up vast areas of land, and by utilizing GMOs, we could decrease cropland inefficiency and increase yields on less land. Biotechnology firms claim that the transgene crops promise more food with less land. According to the USDA, GMO crops have been found to increase yields with a 10% change in genetically modified herbicide-tolerant crop yielding roughly 1.7% increase in productivity. GMO crops production is necessary to support the growing population of almost 9 billion by 2050. We cannot feed this massive amount of people using conventional growing techniques that take up mass areas of land with crops that could be subsidal to weeds and pests, as well as drafts that could dampen the overall crop yield. The fourth question that's asked is, what sources have helped me understand the use of GMOs? As stated on Mission 2014, Feeding the World, which is a study done by MIT, it discusses the use of GMO products and its effect on the environment. GMO chemical pesticides are harmful for the environment and waterways. GMO pesticides crops produce Bt toxins that are similar in the structure of ricin, but the EPA has found that these toxins do not activate in the human gut and leave consumers with no risks. GMOs also cut down on costs because it decreases the amount of chemicals or pesticides that are to be sprayed over the crops. Rather than spraying 2 or 3 times of herbicides and pesticides, farmers are only able to spray once and cover the entire crop, eliminating the unnecessary usage of pesticides and herbicide chemicals. If overall usage of chemicals on a food decreases, it will turn a leaf to a more healthy land and more fertile land that food can be processed with any residue of harmful chemicals. In conclusion, being that I come from an agriculture family that raises our own livestock and grows our own fruits and vegetables, GMO crops are necessary for agriculture to expand and feed the hungry world. I also don't want to take any unnecessary risks that could mean potential dangers for our human population. I would like to ensure the safety of not only our earth, but our inhabitants and our animals. I also want to educate the general public on where food comes from and how it goes from seed to table. Far too many people have no idea where their food comes from, and I think that with education in our food system, that we will be able to produce a more cleaner environment as well as a more efficient agriculture sector. Thank you.